Hi Aquarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your November 2025 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled the Four Agreements and Wisdom of the Oracle card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology guides we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Well, we have you. So apparently you should be focusing on yourselves this month. But yeah, obviously as far as Aquarius energy right now, you guys have Pluto in your sign. That's more or less all that's going on there for now. It was retrograde for a while and it's direct again. All right, we have 10th house energy for you guys is Scorpio, and of course there's going to be plenty going on there, right? We're just about to kick off Scorpio season. There's going to be a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th of November. Mars is currently there. It's only going to be there till the 4th of November, though. We're going to have Venus there for about 3 weeks of the month, starting around the 6th and through the end of the month, more or less. And then we're actually going to have a Mercury retrograde that's going to backtrack into Scorpio from around the 18th to the 29th. So plenty of energy going on there, and just reeling through all those things. I forgot if I even mentioned, but 10th house in general points to career and social status. So you could definitely experience some shifting there. And we have Neptune. So Neptune's currently still in Aries, but it's just about to backtrack into Pisces on the 22nd. So yeah, Neptune can definitely point to some deception, confusion. Sometimes you see those things through a different lens during the retrograde cycles. And when it backtracks into Pisces, that's going to be moving to your second house of possession, self-worth, and finances. So be really evaluating some things in that area of life as well. Keep that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the World. And then challenging that, we have Temperance. So this is actually the major arcana card for Sagittarius. And the World I usually feel is more for North Node energy, has a bit of a Saturnian twist on it. But yeah, it looks like for the majority of you, this is saying that you might have learned an important lesson recently. But with the Temperance in a challenged position, it could just be saying, but you could still be trying to integrate what that lesson was meant to teach you, you know? So I feel like on the one hand, you have a pretty solid grasp of it, but you're just still trying to put the totality of it all together. For some of you, this could have been a lesson that came to you through the groups that you deal with in some way. I have a feeling communication was somehow related to it as well. But yeah, looks like this is just the last piece of the puzzle for you to finally fully integrate what the lesson was meant to teach you. In the foundation position, we have the Ace of Cups. So I feel like with part of this lesson, you might actually find yourselves approaching things with a more loving energy, you know? So it could have been one of those things where maybe, let's say, it was some kind of an ego death type of event, you know? But yeah, it looks like now you are approaching things with a more loving lens. And obviously that's a positive, right? And this could also just be saying that maybe this is opening up to more of that energy to come your way, right? So if you had some kind of blockage around that, and the World energy points to you learning whatever the lesson you need to learn around that blockage, once that blockage is cleared, that could be the energy that starts to flow your way. All right. In the past position, we have the Three of Wands. So this is Aries energy here. So yeah, so for some of you, this could be something that maybe you were waiting to receive this lesson for a long time, right? So maybe there was even part of you that knew that it was something you needed to learn, an experience that you needed to go through, but maybe you weren't quite sure how it was going to come to you, right? So you might have spent some time expecting it on the one hand, but not knowing how it was going to be delivered. All right. In the present position, we have Judgment. So this is definitely an energy that could point to things from the past coming back around. And if that's the case, I feel like in this particular circumstance, it feels like more of a test, more than likely, to see with that world card energy, right? Like, did you truly learn from the past situation or not, right? So, maybe this is something that needs to come back and maybe even something that's there to stay. But I feel like the lesson there is to see if you're going to approach it the same way, right? Which could lead to the same outcome, or approach it through a different lens this time. In the near future position, we have the Emperor. So more Aries energy here, which again does point to your house of communication, right? And we're going to have Mercury retrograde as well, like we mentioned. So maybe this is just saying that maybe you're learning something through communication, maybe a more mature way to approach communication, right? So, for example, not that this is typically an energy you guys tend to embody, but let's just say if you were just very petty with communication, right? You used to just say things that were cutting just because, right? And maybe this is saying now you're learning just more of a mastery around communication, like as far as when to say something versus when it's not worth it, right? Things along those lines there. But it looks like there's some confidence and growth being shown in that area of life. In the position of your influence in a situation, we have strength. So yeah, so this artwork seems to point to that to an extent as well, right? Because we see the woman trying to close the lion's mouth there, and if we think of the lion as representing ego in that regard, I feel like this is saying that maybe there's more of awareness of where your ego can come out in a more negative way, right? So maybe it's even a subconscious thing, but now you've learned to spot that where you're like, okay, something might trigger that, but now you're learning, okay, you know what? Whereas I might have said something a little hurtful and cutting in the past in a situation like this, now I'm just gonna just leave it alone, right? Or even just around, again, like I said, knowing when to speak versus when to hold back. I feel like these are the things that you're showing improvement with now. All right. In the environment position, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And I do have to say, another way that this could be playing out for some of you as well could just be saying that ultimately there's something that you need to communicate, but for whatever reason you might know that right now isn't the right time, right? So you could be deliberately holding back, knowing that, yes, I do need to say this thing, right? I do need to have this conversation. I do need to approach this person, but right now is just not the right time to do it, right? And so even if we just look at the most basic generic astrology example there is, like we said, we will have that Mercury retrograde, right? So maybe you're just like, oh, it could be as simple as that. Like, okay, I know Mercury's retrograde for a lot of November. Let me hold off on delivering this message till December. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Ace of Swords. So for some of you, this is probably more of a hope, right? Where you're hoping to truly see a situation clearly. So yeah, maybe that's what it is for some of you too, right? Where you might feel like you know what the lesson was. You might feel like, okay, I know what it was meant to teach me, but you might have that little piece of doubt there, like, am I really picking up on what this was really meant to teach me, right? So I feel like you might also want to be sure that you really do grasp the lesson before you do come forward and communicate around it to others. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, so this to me looks like another point of mastery as far as like we were saying. So for example, if we look at the Three of Wands in a past position, right? That's a passive energy, right? Where like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this thing to come my way, right? And it needs to be this exact thing, right? Whereas this person here is like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not where I want to be right now, but rather than sit there and dwell on it, I'm gonna go seek out what I do ultimately want, what I do need. So for some of you, that's maybe the lesson learned there, right? Was like masculine versus feminine energy, right? When to be more assertive, when to be more passive. So that could be the type of thing you're dealing with there. And bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands. So this is Aries energy here. So yeah, so it looks like there is that part of you that does want to come forward, right? You do want to communicate something. You do want to explore. But again, like I said, I feel like you're just thinking, but maybe the time's not quite ready yet. All right. And from the Four Agreements deck, we have always do your best and honor yourself. Okay, it says honor the man or woman that you are. Take the risk to express your dream. Taking action is about living fully and expressing what you are. So interesting message there, right? Because this seems to align with saying, yeah, you should say that thing, right? You should pursue that goal, whatever the case may be. So again, like I say, I really don't feel like you're going to abandon this goal or avoid saying this thing. Again, I feel like you're just more of maybe not right now, right? So I feel like you're not abandoning it in any way. You're just maybe looking for the right timing. All right. And from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Thinker. There's the artwork. The number's 44. And yeah, maybe that's why, right? Maybe you're now really, really thinking things through before you come forward. But we'll see what the message says in the book. All right, it says strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message, the ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So yeah, that part about you have all the information you need, that kind of reminds me of what I was saying in the beginning with the World card, where it's like, it looks like you have learned a lesson, right? You've learned what you needed to, but with the Temperance card, it's just a matter of you integrating that, right? So it could just be saying that maybe you're second guessing yourselves in a certain way. The relationship message says, love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. So interesting message there because the part where it says it is good to have things in common other than desires. So for some of you, maybe that's what it was about, right? Because with this strength card here, maybe that's what it was, right? Where you might have felt like a really strong pull toward people in the past and you would have let that lead you, right? Versus taking the time to see, okay, is there deeper compatibility there, right? So maybe that's something that you've learned to master over time. The prosperity message says calculated action is called for now. It's important to sit down and plan a strategy. Focus on the steps you're going to take to claim your prosperous life. Lists are your friends now, so get out your journal. Write down what you're going to do today to signal to the universe that you're serious about attracting abundance. Your plans and strategies will yield wondrous results. Remember, your most effective strategic partner is spirit. You will win this game, and your triumph will be for the highest good of all. So yeah, another good message there. So yeah, again, like I said, it does seem like you have the right idea as far as, like I said, it doesn't like you're abandoning this goal or avoiding a conversation, whatever the case may be. It looks like it's just more of you trying to be strategic about it, right? Trying to find the right time and figuring out what that right time will be to come forward, even if only for yourself, because you're like, well, let me make sure I'm fully clear on what I need to say before I come forward and say it, right? So hopefully that resonates with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.